Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Faith. On this channel I talk about relocating to the US as a registered nurse from whichever country that you're coming from, and I also do lifestyle content. I showcase my life here in the US as a registered nurse. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and for always being here. So I know it's been a minute, but you guys will understand. I'll try to keep up with the videos, but this has been a video that I had on my mind for some time, so I just want to talk about it because most of the time when we are back at home and we are sent those contracts and you see the hourly rate that they promise to be paying you, which usually they do, it's a lot of money. If you're back at home, you look at it and you're like, this is crazy. But when you come here, you realize that that money is not as much as you may think. That money is good and is gonna sustain you, but it's not a lot. It's not gonna make you a millionaire or a billionaire overnight. So that being said, I'm not complaining. The situation here with employment and payment is way much better than my country. At least that's what I can say. I don't know about other countries, but the fact that here you wake up, go to work, and the moment you sign in or you badge in, you know that your money is starting to come your way. There's no way you're gonna go to work and then somebody denies you your pay. And also the good thing is that you're paying according to your hour. It's an hourly pay, so it's not like you have a fixed pay that if they tell you they're gonna pay you $10 or $500 a month, that's the fixed amount they'll forever pay you. No, here is according to how you work. If you work yourself, you apply yourself, you get the money. If you're lazy, you'll also get what you put in. So what you put in is what you get out. That's the best thing about the US. So that being said, we're gonna talk about the expenses that you should be ready to incur when you're here. And I'm gonna do the fixed expenses, the expenses that you can't run away from. And then I'm gonna do the revolving expenses, expenses that may change every time and then during the month. And I'm gonna do some other maybe miscellaneous expenses that are not that much everyone's priority. So let's get started. The first expense, and this is a very big expense that everybody who gets to the US incurs, is rent. Rent in the US is crazy. Rent is very expensive. It's very expensive to rent a house in the US. So that is a big expense that you must put into consideration. So when you're back at home, you are thinking about a state that you're going to work in, and most of the time when you come back, when you come here, you already know the hospital that you're going in, and you know the environment that you're going to live in. Just go to the internet, search. I know I have done a video about renting in the US. I'm very sure I have. If I have, you're gonna see it pop up here or you may see it linked in the description box. But I have done a video and I have shared a website that you can take the zip code of your hospital and just look at how the rents are going around there, because those websites gives you the houses that are available around there and how much rent is going around there. So go in there and key in and see how much rent is there. Yeah, and even if you don't know the state that you're going on and you're still thinking about the state that you want to go on, still use those websites. There are like US known websites for house hunting, and you can have a picture of how much you're gonna be paying. So if you convert that money, especially the first few months when you come here, you're just gonna work 3 days a week, and that's a standard because most of the time if you are on orientation they don't give you extra duties. So you're gonna work with the 3 days a week, and most of the hospital pay you every 2 weeks, so, or at least most of the companies. So 3 days a week for 2 weeks. No, calculate how much you may be paying, and you may be being paid, and then see how much the rent around there is, because where sometimes the rent is like half your salary. So take that into consideration when you're moving here. And also when you come here, just try to look around. I'll also advise people not to take the longest lists every time, the first time they step somewhere. You can find a house, just take, if the lease is 6 months, take the 6 months, because after 6 months you will see, you'll look around and you'll find better deals than the house that you once found. That's also my case. When I came here, I found this house, but I've realized that there are better deals around me. So take the lease. You can renew the lease if you feel like your house is good or the environment is good and everything, but still, if you find like that place is not good, you can move and get to another house. So rent is one of the big expenses that you should expect when you come here. I'm not going into numbers because it's quite different. You might get a place is expensive than like 15 miles away from that place the rent is cheaper. So it's up to you, it's up to the state that you're going. Some states are expensive to rent, some are a little bit friendly. So I'm not going into numbers because it differs. The other expense that you will encounter is the car payment expense. Well, this doesn't apply to everyone, but it applies to most of us. So most of us, when we come here, we take our companies help us to get a loan from the bank to get a vehicle, because a vehicle is like a necessity, is not a luxury in the US. Most of the places you want to go, you need a car. And if you want to use Uber, it's too expensive. Most of the states don't have public transportation in their system, so you have to have your own vehicle, or if you don't have, you're gonna incur the cost of using Uber. So the car payment is another big expense that you may incur. So take into consideration your hourly rate and the amount of money that you'll be getting after every pay period. And let's say a month, and just make sure that you're not overspending on the vehicle that you want. Yes, you might come here, there's a lot of vehicles in the US. You may want to take the biggest loan and get the best vehicle, the luxury vehicles, but you should also know that a vehicle is, yeah, it's a necessity, but it's a liability. Most of the time it will not return. You'll not get return on the investment, but you'll need it to move around. So just start small. When you come here, people live big. People live big, and also the internet makes people overspend because they want the latest model with the latest technology and all that stuff, but then their pockets are suffering. There are a lot of people in the US who live flashy lifestyles, but they really don't have anything in the bank. They live paycheck to paycheck. They have a lot of loans they have a lot of credit loans. Most of these vehicles, like the US vehicles, are like phones back at home. Today someone buys a vehicle, after 5 months there's another model of vehicle that has come in and they want it, and they go dispose that vehicle and they get the new one, but they're not getting them cash. They're not paying them off. They're getting them with a loan. So someone has a vehicle, but it's always they're servicing a loan. Let me put it like that. So don't look at your environment and be fooled that this person drives a Tesla, they drives the latest model of a Tesla, they drive a Lexus, and then think that they have money, and feel sorry for yourself for driving your Honda, maybe another 2 to 3 years model behind, and think that you are way behind. No, you're not, because if you can manage that money and you can manage the car repayment, please just do. When you come here, the more you work, the more you accumulate your money, then you'll be able to buy those luxury vehicles as you can. But when you come here, you're still understanding the banking system, you're still understanding the credit system, that how it works here. You're still new in this country. You don't have your own home. You don't own a house. You don't own most of the things. Most of the things you have them. You're renting a house. You have a car on a loan. Please don't overspend your money. So car expenses are other fixed expenses that you will be paying every month, as long as you took a loan to get a vehicle. So that's the second expense that I wanted to talk about. The third one is car insurance. That's a fixed expense. Yes, you need a car insurance. Well, when I was here, I was frustrated because when I was back at home, people really used to, yeah, the people had car insurances, but it wasn't like a lot of people didn't care for the car insurances. They had cars, but they never insured them. But here it's very important that you have a car insurance. Now, I want to talk about car insurance. I don't know if I have done a video about insurances here. I think I have. If I have, you're gonna see it in the description box. But car insurances are many, and well, you're gonna get the you're gonna have a car insurance and a rental insurance, so you must also have a rental insurance. Well, the rental insurance is not expensive, but the car insurance may eat your money. So be careful and do your own research when you are looking for an insurance company. Not just the money, but look at the reputation of the kind of insurance that you're using to insure your car, because things happen. If your car gets damaged, then you can't move around. If you have a good insurance, they'll give you a rental car and they're gonna take care of your vehicle and they return it to you when it's okay. If you have a bad insurance, they'll try to make up a lot of excuses not to cover you as much as you pay them. Also, you may get a cheap insurance and it's a good one. You may get an expensive insurance but it's full of shady businesses. So when you come here, research insurances and look at a good insurance that you'll use to insure your car. And also look at what kind of packages you want, because when you get the insurance, they're gonna give you the premium packages and all these other packages. So just look at the package that favors you. If you are a very good driver, you may leave out some things, but if you don't really trust yourself, like me, when I was coming here, I had to take a premium one, because in case I ran into someone and I injure them, then my insurance will help me to take care of that person and also take care of me and take care of the car. So if you're a very good driver, you can leave some of the packages out. But most of the time when we come here, as much as we are good drivers, we are not experienced on the US roads. So the US roads are, I can say, are very good roads, but you need to know the ins and outs for you to be safe on the road. So car insurance is one of the fixed one of the fixed expenses that you will encounter here. And most of the car insurance are more than $100. I'm just gonna put that out there. So yeah, another expense, a fixed expense that you're gonna have, I'm gonna put them together: cable, internet, and if you have a landline in your house. So it will depend on you. Most of the time when someone is single and they just it's just you in the house, most of the time you don't need all these. But then some houses, if you rent them, they come with the whole package. They'll come with all these: the cable, the landline, and the internet, and you have to pay it. So that is just it's a fixed expense that you're gonna pay. If you're lucky, you can get an apartment that doesn't have mandatory all these. And if you're single, you may just rely on your phone internet. But if you have a family, it becomes a challenge. If you're not home, then there's no internet in the house. So you may need this for your TV, for your significant others to use, and as you get their phones and all this. So these are some of the fixed expenses that someone will have. The landline is just the house phone usually. Yeah, you understand landline. Yeah. Now those are the fixed expenses. I don't know if I've left out any other, but I think I have covered the necessary ones that you should know that you're gonna incur when you come here. The major ones are the car payment and the rent. Oh, about the rent, I've seen other people live together and cost share the rent in their first few months or the first 1 year. So it's up to you. If you have that kind of arrangement, it's gonna help you at least save something before you move into your own place. So yeah. Okay, the next set of expenses that I want to talk about are the revolving expenses. These are just expenses that you always have them, but they're not really their prices are not constant, like they keep changing. I'm gonna talk about groceries. So groceries are like your foodstuffs. These are the expenses that you must put in place. You will not be here and not eat. Go to work and not eat. You'll not be in the house without toiletries. So you must budget for this and see how much you want to spend in a month. If you are single, of course the expenditure is gonna be low unless you're eating out, because that's another bad culture that is here in the US and is easy to pick up, especially if you're lazy to cook. So if you gonna eat out, you're gonna spend a lot of money. But if you cook, groceries can be cheap, and then your part is to cook for yourself. So you may find that if you buy a meal of 2, that money can amount to a 1 week's grocery. That's just 1 meal of 2. So do your math and decide what to do. So groceries, I can say, well, I don't know, it will depend on your family size. If you're single, it will be way cheaper on you. If you have significant others, it's gonna be a little more money. The good thing that I like about US, if you have big kids that are going to school, all you have to pack for them most of the time is snacks, because they give them food at school. So all this time they are in school, you don't worry about their food they're gonna eat. All you need to worry about is their dinner. You have to make dinner for them, but they need to go with snacks at school. That's something good. But yeah, groceries and toiletries are some of the things that you'll need to put into your budget as you think of your big salary. Another revolving expenses are electricity and gas. Yeah, electricity bill here, not that crazy, but depends on the season. If it's cold, you're gonna need heat to warm your home, and that's gonna pump your electricity up, so you can't avoid electricity. The US has a crazy weather. It's not a tropical weather like back at home, so you need to control the temperature in your house. So there's no way you're gonna live without an AC in the US. So air conditioning is very, very mandatory in your house. So when it's cold, you're gonna need to keep your house warm. When it's hot outside, you're gonna need to keep the house cool. So all this needs electricity. While you're cooking, you're cleaning your clothes, your fridge while it's running, like your house has electricity passing through every single time. So there's no way you're gonna be without paying electricity. So electricity is another revolving, I put it under revolving expenses because it's never the same most of the time. It can be up, it can be low. So it depends on how you're consuming at that time. If you're using gas, that's also another revolving expense. So just take that into consideration. And then another revolving expense is water, sewer, and trash. Yeah, water, you have to pay for it. Most of the time it comes with the rent if you rent a house, but it depends on your consumption. So if you rent a house, they're gonna charge you for water because they provide you with water. They're gonna charge you for sewer because they need to control the sewage system, making sure the apartments are okay. And then the trash, most of the time they have their barley trash. They come to collect the trash at your doorstep, and you need to pay for that. And they need to control and dispose of that trash, so you pay for that. So that depends, I think, on your expenditure. I don't know how they do it because where I live it's different figures every month, so that's why I put them under revolving expenses. And then another revolving expense is your phone. It's crazy here in the US. Acquiring a phone is easy, but just getting a SIM card has a lot of it's not that, it's a little bit complicated than back at home. You just don't buy a SIM card. You need to go there, provide your social security number, provide your account and all these. So every time they're gonna charge you every month for your phone services. You don't buy a credit card and scratch it and put credit in your phone. The companies that sell you the SIM card, they're gonna charge you every month for your credits, your phone and how you use it. So if you use a lot of data, they're gonna charge you more. Most of the time it's not a lot, but it just depends. If you use your phone to call outside the United States, then they're also gonna charge you more because you're doing international calls. So just be mindful of that when you come here. Another thing that is under revolving expenses is the gas and car upkeep here. This is very important. Gas, it depends on how much you're consuming with your vehicle. It depends on how far your vehicle travels and all this stuff. So that will depend on how much you use your vehicle. Car upkeep, it depends on your car. If your car has a problem, you need to take it to the mechanic. You need to have money in your pocket. All this, just the general car upkeep, you need to have money for that. At least set aside something for that. You may have a flat tire, all this small stuff on your car. So those are just expenses that you may need to put in mind. Child care fees. Child care is very expensive here. If you're gonna put your child in daycare, is expensive. So if that's something that you're gonna do, you'll be paying, I don't know if they pay it daily or monthly or whatever. What I know is that child care is very expensive and daycare is very expensive. So if you know someone who knows someone, please live close to people that you can help co-parent, not co-parent, but just co-babysit. And even if you're single, if you know if you have your countryman, like people you come from the same country, people uh, try to help them with their babies. It's very expensive to uh, put your baby in daycare, especially the first few months when you come to the US. So childcare is another revolving expense. I put it under revolving expense because sometimes you may get someone to babysit, and it's not mandatory for everyone. People, they co-babysit, and yeah, kids grow up just being babysat by friends and family. So yeah, well, that's it with the revolving expenses. I think I've talked about a lot of them. If I've left anything out, please share it in the comment section so that someone may also know. That I wanted to talk about are really just things that are not really mandatory. It depends on you. One is your savings. It may be hard to save the first 1 year that you get here, because the first 6 months, if you know, the first 6 weeks or 12 weeks, orientation is usually 12 weeks with most of the companies, but it depends on the person. If you're a fast learner and if they see that you're okay to be on your own, you can pick up extra shifts, but then other than that, you're gonna be doing 3 days a week according to your preceptor. So I can tell you that it's hard to save in the first year because you're trying to buy furniture in your house, you're trying to relocate your family to the US, you're trying to catch up with the system. So all that, it takes a lot of money. But then the second year, now we can start talking about saving, and you should put saving as part of your expenses. Well, I don't know where to put this, but if it were up to me, I'm gonna put it at the fixed expense. You need to save and try to invest your money, because the thing that I've learned in the US is, if your body cannot work and you don't have something to fall back on, then you're screwed up. If you live paycheck to paycheck, you're just one day a paycheck away to be homeless. It's not fun to be homeless in the US. Trust me, I've met a lot of people who are homeless, and it's just sad. Some of them are just homeless by choice. They want to live on the streets. But some of them, it is the circumstances that led them to where they are. And you talk to them, some of them had good jobs. They had money coming in every week at least, or 2 weeks at least. But then something just happened to them. They got into an accident, they became sick, and just like that, and they don't have a home. And if you get to that point and you don't have like government disability to help you, because yeah, there are these programs for the government to help, but not everyone gets it. So it's not fun to be homeless. That's something that scares me the most. So if it were up to me, you can put savings as part of the fixed expenses. Save and invest. Yes, you can invest here. It depends with you. You can invest here and also invest back at home. The thing that this is a little bit controversial, but some people don't want to invest at home, but I always feel like home is always the best, and you can never be homeless at home. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So at least have something back at home where you can book a flight and go be safe. other than sleeping in a tent in the winter. So yeah, anyway, that was just a by the way. So another expense is your retirement. There's a lot of good plans out here where you can save your money for retirement, especially if you're employed. There is the 401ks that you can put your money in, and the employer will match it with a certain amount, such that when you get out of that company, or you stop working, they can reimburse you that money, and that's gonna help you. So retirement is a good thing to invest in. There's a lot of things you can invest in. A lot of them I really don't understand, but I'm trying to learn. But it's good to invest in your retirement. What else? Another thing that you need, your expenses are just your normal things that you want to do to yourself. Like ladies, if you like doing your manicures, your hair, just pampering yourself, clothing, taking your family out, going to eat out sometimes. It doesn't hurt if you're planning to go on a vacation. These are some of the expenses that you need to factor in your budget. You just don't wake up and go to a restaurant to eat. Plan for it, because the money that you're getting is not that much, at least for the first few 1 year that you come to the US. So that's an expense that you really need to put a factor in your budget as you live here in the US. So I think I have touched a lot of these expenses that you guys will expect when you come here. I'm not gonna throw out numbers, guys. I came here and I relied on numbers that I saw on YouTube. Trust me, it's different with states. Rent is gonna be different with states. Even car payment, some states have, you go there and you get a car way cheaper than you get from another state. So I'm not gonna throw out numbers. Another thing is, when I came here, cars were so expensive because they were saying that they were blaming everything on COVID. But then a few months later, the same cars went down. They become a little cheaper, because they say now they have the microchips and all these things that they were waiting on, so the car scarcity was lessened. So those are a lot of factors that come into consideration when it comes to payment. Another thing, life can be totally different from different states. You're gonna go to a state, in your hospital, every time they have low census, so they don't need you in the hospital most of the time. You're gonna go to a state or a place where there is a lot of this shortage every time, so every time you're gonna get a chance to go to work. That's why I don't want to throw out numbers. So it just depends on you and where you're gonna fall at, and what your situation is, and how much you can hustle. That's the best thing about the US. If you put in the hustle mentality, work, you're gonna get the money. If you're lazy and you want to sleep in the house, well, there's no money for you. So it depends with you and how much you want to apply yourself, and also how smart you want to work. Because I've met a lot of people here. Well, they're not on contract like me For me, I stay with my hospital most of the time because I have a contract with my agency that I need to fulfill, and I need to work the hours and finish them as soon as possible so I can be a free agent. But I have met staff that work with different hospitals. They work with my hospital and they work somewhere else, and they get money every single week. Like this week they are being paid here, the next week they are being paid somewhere else, and they have different hourly rates. You see, like this hospital pays them a certain amount, and the other one pays them a certain amount. So uh, it just depends on how much you want to hustle. There's a lot of job opportunities and opportunities in the US. It just depends on a person and yeah, how much you're able to apply yourself and how smart you want to work, because there are people who work less days and get a lot of money, and there are people who work a lot of days and get literally no money. So like not really no money, but their pay is lesser. So it just depends on how much you use your brain. So yeah, I think I've talked much about these expenses, and I hope you get a clear picture on how many expenses you're gonna be incurring here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.